If there's one of anything that can cause anyone to be a household name around the world, it's a hit song.
Empire Podcast.
Everyone, welcome to the Empire, and yes, we have another great guest, a gentleman who is for the community, a rapper, a man who also does photography, an author, and also the man behind UV Light Foundation, and that gentleman's name is Ulysses Valor. Welcome to the Empire, Ulysses.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you, my G. How do you?
I do well. How do you?
Man, I am full of unshakable confidence. Thank you for asking. I like that you knew how to answer that question. A lot of people don't. How do I? What do you mean? How do you? Yeah, you do well, as you should.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I strive to do great and do better and to do fantastic.
Mm-hmm. As you should.
Yeah.
Hey, I expect nothing less. Yeah, let's go.
To do beyond the regular.
Mm-hmm. Always.
I like how you said unshakable confidence.
Appreciate you.
I like that. Has anything ever tried to shake your confidence?
All the time.
Yeah.
That's how I know it's unshakable. Period.
I love that. I love
Appreciate
that.
it.
I love that. And it's something that has to be learned.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And man, we're already through our first quarter of the year.
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah.
How's been your 2025 so far?
Man, fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I got out here last year, and it's been such an amazing journey and ride, knowing that what I have to offer, the people need and they want and they desire and they're looking forward. They're looking forward to it because I have it in the unique way that I have it. So, I mean, my 2025 has been magnificent. I met some beautiful partners. Shout out to my man Ipyon. Shout out to Tribe and Grit, one of my main sponsors. They've been behind me the entire way. Man, shout out to KCAA Radio. Man, just finished a 12-week contract with them on the Tribe and Grit radio show and podcast. I mean, my 2025 has started off with a bang. Man, with a bang, yo. How's yours?
I'm grateful, man. I'm just I always like to wake up and start the day with gratitude because I get another day, and I think with every day is another day to lay a brick for the foundation of the empire. No pun intended. And I'm so glad. I've been excited to have you on because you have a great energy.
Man, appreciate you.
Great things that going on, and I see great things for you, and also for shout out Ipiani. I see really great things for you two gentlemen. But Ulysses, for people who may not know who you are and the things that you do, can you please let everybody know who you are and the things that you do, my brother?
Man, absolutely. My name is Ulysses Valor. That's pronounced Ulysses Valor. I am a mentor, a mental health advocate, and a luminary. I specialize in cultivating emotional maturity and mindful masculinity in boys and men. As stated, brother, I am a lyricist. I mean, I guess I could be called a rapper, but I like more the term lyrical self-expressionist, right? Or a wordsmith, but yeah, a rapper, artist, photographer, as stated, physical fitness junkie, I guess. I mean, I love my health. Health is wealth, right? Man, reading is my strongest hobby and passion. I really love to learn and absorb and soak up as much knowledge as I possibly can to then apply it and be the kind of man that would have you invite me down. I've created journals for boys and men. I have one of the largest catalogs online right now, over 310 different languages. They're all designed and geared toward emotional maturity, mindful masculinity, suicide prevention, things of that magnitude. An avid volunteer. I love to volunteer down at the Civil Rights Institute of Southern California in Riverside. I like to hang and bang with them on the regular. I also do some volunteer work at Smiley Library. I read to the older adults. I mean, in a nutshell, my G, that's me. I really don't talk about myself that much. I just get out here and just be myself.
Yeah, and
so
today he's gonna talk about himself
a little bit. Hold on,
we're gonna know who he
let's
is.
See, oh wait, I found a way to do it. Bam.
We're gonna find out who he is today. We're gonna find out who he is today. That's what the empire is about. We like to go deep, and What was the book that you read last to the elders?
The last book we read was Ellis Island, as a matter of fact,
Okay.
working with one of my senior 2Ds, and yeah, it was Ellis Island. Funny thing is, I learned more about Ellis Island working with my adult learner than I ever did like in school. It taught me so much. Bro. I was like, yo, I'm really enjoying this. It broke down everything as far as how the immigrants would come in from all over the world. They would stop at Ellis Island, and they helped build. Yeah, they got registered, and they would go out and help build New York and this, that, and the other. Before it was New York, it was called New Amsterdam, and I mean everything, bro. Like I was amazed at how much my learner was learning and how much I was learning by teaching. And so Ellis Island was the last one we read.
What was the last book that you read personally?
In totality, or that I'm reading currently?
Let's do totality. The last one that you read in totality.
The last book that I read in totality would have been, man, I want to say The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. No, apologies. It was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, that's one of the top 10 books.
Yeah. And then currently I'm reading Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein.
Okay.
Yeah.
You enjoying that one?
Oh, I'm loving it. Yeah, I just finished a chapter that says, what was it? It was do less and attract more. And
Okay.
I really like grasped that concept, because there's only so much that I can truly do, right? So rather than being extremely stressed out over the things that I can't do, I'm going to do what I know I can do, and then just let everything else be, because realistically, that's all I can do.
It almost sounds like do less and attract more. Seems like two things in my mind, like specialization and just do things really well, as opposed to having things half-ass. And
Right. Yeah, like I would tell my mom, like, we don't do things half-ass. If you're gonna do it, use your full ass, right?
That's it.
so we all in.
We could all break wind.
Yes. Yes, I like that.
I like that. There's something that I always noticed about you, and I have to ask. You always have like a scarf.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a scarf, or what would you call it?
I guess so. I mean, this is a detachable hood.
Detachable hood.
Yeah, but this is a scarf, and it also comes, what I'm saying, a little hood I put on. It's
Ah.
because I'm bald, bro.
So it prepares you for the cold.
It keeps me nice and toasty, bro. And, just my style. I like to, put it with the bubble coat, put it with the top coat or the trench coat. Like, a lot of people really don't move that way, and I appreciate the fact that I can stand out like that, which is why I have so many colors for so many different fits. You feel me?
I know.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, brother, I know,
You
yeah.
gotta be ready.
Man, just my own little way of moving. I love the the fat tongue Vans with the thick laces. The Levi jeans, the Guayavetas. For those that know what the Guayaveta is, the Caribbean button down and all of that. Hit it with the hood, bro. That way I could stay warm. I love driving with the windows down and all of that, sunroof open and everything.
Okay.
Right. So being bald, not having all of that,
You be
protection.
sneezing and
Yeah,
running,
I need it, bro. So I put it on and just have at it.
I
That's
love it. It
I
kind of gives me like an
appreciate it.
East Coast vibe.
Appreciate it, bro.
Low key. Did you work out today?
Actually, no. I worked out yesterday.
Okay, at least you had the workout in.
I have my on and off days.
Okay.
But yesterday was like full cardio. I did a lot of running, some speed roping, some push-ups. But I have my on off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let the body heal and come
Yeah,
back.
I need
Yep.
that. I need that rest, and then I might go back to doing like 6 days straight again. Yeah, just every single day, and just take that one day off. But I always touch legs every day I go.
Nice. Yeah.
Period. Some people have leg day. I call it leg life. Like,
Look,
for real.
They hold
every
up
day.
everything. They hold
up everything, dude. So I touch it every single day, and I like to do it isolated. Like one leg at a time to the best of my ability. And yeah, I put together a nice little program called the 24/7, where I would do 24 sets, and the workout is 7 days a week because I live 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But that's still the on and off.
I like that.
Man,
What's
appreciate it.
crazy is because people who like to go to the gym a lot and work out is like, bro, your legs. What's up with your legs, bro? You forgot your legs.
A lot of people do. And the thing about it is this. In the beginning, I didn't really touch my legs a lot as well,
Yeah.
because they do one thing to everyone, and that's humble you. You realize how strong you're not. Right? You really realize how weak you are. do to your legs, right? Because it's not that easy to do lunges or leg press or squats, right? Or calf raises, seated or standing. Like these things, they take a lot out of a person, right? And on top of that, depending on the genetic makeup of a person, it's going to take a little bit longer to see some gains. So some people will stay away from it. But
True.
just like anything else, the more you do it, the more accustomed you become to it, the more you have the opportunity and the ability to grow.
You gotta crawl before you walk.
Yeah, so I balanced it out, to where I can touch them every single day, not overexert myself, give myself a day off in between, and then get out there and just have at it, dude. I don't need that much to push, single leg when I'm doing a leg press, and be like 250, 270 pounds, and then just have at it. Do like 4 or 5 sets of 8,
Okay.
call it a day.
And get it done.
Legs feel
Okay.
fantastic. Went running yesterday and was ready to race a cheetah.
Yeah.
Man, was ready to race a cheetah.
Bro,
Yeah.
legs. Okay.
Leg life, bro. I was
Yes.
ready to race a cheetah. I kid you not.
If you like what you hear so far, please like, subscribe, comment down below. You know, Ulysses, like to say, we like to go deep here. People are gonna learn about you today. They already learned today about your leg day.
Man, let's get it. Leg
Yeah,
life.
but leg life, leg life.
Leg life.
But can you give us all a brief, what we say, origin story about how you grew up, where you grew up to the man that you are today?
Man, origin story. Born to a single mother. I had one sibling that I was raised with. I am one of 6. My father was the one who had all of the other ones. Man, all right, brief story. Mom's was getting away from a reckless situation. Pops was smoking that stuff. I mean, it makes sense though, per se ish, thinking about the things that he went through, the abuse that he's seen, the alcoholism that he's seen, the different things that my mom went through, the things that she's seen in her household, being one of, if I'm not mistaken, 10. Being born and raised in the 50s, 60s, things of that magnitude. So they had what they had, right? So Moms was getting away from him. He was on that stuff. She left Ohio, came to California, very little family. So a lot of bouncing around, a lot of moving, a lot of what she would call being a gypsy, living on the land, living with, other people. So a lot of homelessness, in elementary, junior high school, a lot of abandonment, a lot of, baby, I'm going to be right back, leave you with some people who weren't really relatives, slide off, a lot of yo-yo love that, I can't stand you, I hate you, get away from me, but then again, I love you, you everything to me, come back, A lot of that took place in the Inland Empire, a lot of homelessness throughout Fontana, Rialto, San Bernardino, man, all the way up to Victorville, Hemet. Man, I slept on all of these streets just about, like downtown. Used to sleep outside the Carousel Mall when the Carousel Mall was still popping. Yeah, a lot of that took place. Got into, I wouldn't necessarily say I was with the wrong crowd, right? It was the crowd. It was who was available at the time. It was who had what it was that I was looking for, which was an image to give me to emulate to become a man. Because one thing Moms would tell me was this. She said, baby, I can't teach you how to be a man, right? That's your father's job, and him and I aren't together. And, I apologize that him and I aren't together for him to teach you how to be a man. So you got to learn that on your own. Like, that's what she hit me with, young. So that naturally gave me the inclination to want to observe men, right? For those older than me, for those who would have known more than me, that's the first thing that I did. I would observe. And then by observing, what do? Right? We imitate. So I began to imitate, right? And then the things that I began to imitate, I didn't like, because I didn't like the person that I was becoming. I didn't like the places that it was leading me. I didn't like the experiences that I was having, imitating these things. And it was then I realized, either I continue on this route or I do my own thing. And I came to doing my own thing because actually one of my guys told me, he was like, listen, he was like, he said it just like this, you've always done your own thing. Never lose that about you, like at all. And I was like, man, that was like confirmation for me. And once things started falling apart and, shit start hitting the fan and fire and brimstone and things start falling apart, it was like, okay, you know what? It's time to move on and do my own thing. And from then on, I began to progress and evolve and elevate and, man, learn and study and bounce around, right? And what really got me into wanting to evolve myself was I was listening to a radio interview, and the gentleman was reading, I believe, something along the lines of the Willie Lynch letter. And the gentleman made a statement, if you want to hide anything from a black man, put it in a book. That infuriated me and intrigued me at the same time. Now, at that time, I couldn't have pronounced infuriate or intrigued, but I'm glad that I heard that because it did. It infuriated me and it intrigued me. I was living with a friend at the time, and they had books on the shelf, and I was like, man, I went to the first book I seen, opened it up, and I started reading and realized I was an idiot. Realized I couldn't read, bro. I was 21 years old, couldn't read. I could do X, Y, and Z, but damn, I can't read.
How could you tell that you couldn't read?
Because I couldn't pronounce certain words, easy words, sophisticated, beneficial. Words that would seem complicated, but they aren't. Words that should be simple based on the age that I was. I should have been able to pronounce all of those. Bro, I struggled. That brought me to tears. I cried. And I said, okay.
From frustration, right?
Man, from frustration and realizing, bro, who am I? No wonder when I'm out here attempting to do things, calling myself, a man or wanting to improve, people are looking at me like, bro, you're not ready. I wasn't by any means. So from then on, bro, I started to read and read and read and read, bro. And from then on, I realized I was like, man, that dude was right. If you want to hide anything from a black man, put it in the book. But then I was just like, yo, if you want to hide anything from anyone, put it in the book. Because they'll give you all of the other distractions. But sitting down, reading, looking up words you don't know, making sure you understand and comprehend the sentence structure, the context, all of the different nuances that come with literature, all right? I love being able to, expand my vocabulary and express myself properly, which is why I got into creating the journals for boys and men, because the goal is to get away from the stale, stagnant, and stereotypical stigma that boys and men aren't well equipped in expressing themselves emotionally in a non-destructive way. And because of that one radio conversation, reading became something that I just fell in love with, and it made so much sense because then I began to read anything and everything. So now I'm studying 2 languages, Espanol and Italiano.
See, we're going to get into that.
So with that, bro, it's just been a lot of growth, a lot of trial and error, a lot of bouncing through as many different areas as I possibly could in order to evolve into who I am now sitting in front of you. Appreciate you.
It's cool because it's what it makes me think of is that you took the weapon that was used against you and used it for you, as far as the books, right? As people would say, okay, like we'll weaponize books by not having them, by hiding things from them. And he's like, you know what, like you're not gonna hide anything from me. I'm gonna learn how to read and accomplish everything in these books,
Right.
right? And in my opinion, it seems like ever since then, it's kind of been like, like you can't hide anything from me. I'm gonna get as long as books are accessible to everybody,
I'm on.
you can't stop me.
Bro, I'm on.
You can't stop me.
I'm on. I have like 3 to 4 different library cards throughout the Inland Empire. I need to go get some more. One of my colleagues told me about a dope library somewhere, dude. I think like West Covina or something like that. He said it has a dope library. Or like a garden or something. I gotta go figure it out. But I love it, yo.
We got to start promoting how cool it is to have a library card.
Dude, library cards are so dope. I mean, the gardens are dope. The ones that I've gone to, the study rooms, like the one in Riverside has a balcony. They have 4 floors, and on their 3rd floor they have like this giant balcony. It has glass railing, and you see the most exquisite view of the mountains, bro. Like just from all angles, and when the sun is going down and setting, dopest spot to just sit there, read, meditate, man, study your language, do your homework and all of that. Like fly. I mean, the interior design is beautiful. It's peaceful. Like that's one of my go-to spots when it's time to think and create and all of that. And then the one in Redlands has 2 garden sections, and then right behind it they have the Abraham Lincoln like memorial set up and all of that with this fountain. I be watching the squirrels and the blue jays come through and all of that, bro. I love it, bro. I do. I love it.
Is the library in Riverside across from the Civil Rights Institute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one
Okay.
right there is fly, yo. It's super fly.
You know, libraries are cool. People don't forget.
Man.
No, you have to promote it because
I mean, facts,
La
yo.
biblioteca is increíble.
Man, absolutamente. As a matter of fact, Brother Miles Monroe said it. He said, every time you pass a library, knowledge incriminates you. And I was like, I had to look up the word incriminate to make sure that I understood the sentence.
Yeah, how it goes. Yep.
And I was like, dude, that makes so much sense, right? Because it's the self-evident guilt of not have done something, that you haven't done something, or that you did something, or that you should have done something. Right? And it's like every time you pass a library, knowledge incriminates you. It's like if you don't know something, especially today in the information age, if a person says they don't know something, library cards are free.
Yep. But people trust Google more.
Man, library cards are free. The world's wealth of wisdom.
But
in the
people trust
library.
Google more, right?
Man,
People trust Google
listen, I'm all up in there. They have business sections, right? They have Spanish sections, Italian sections, cooking sessions, anything you want. You can go in there in any section.
You got it.
And you have it.
Yeah. You know, I want to go back to what were some of the things that you were imitating that you didn't want to, you were done imitating. You were just over it.
The same life that a lot of brothers are continuing to imitate right now, which is the which is the low down, no good hood.
Can you explain?
The criminal, the one who is enthusiastic about being incarcerated, right? The ones who want to promote jail life and being in prison. I mean, I love my freedom, right? There is nothing more desirable for anyone on this planet than freedom. I mean, think about the countries that are constantly at war. They would love to be free from that ceasefire, right? We hear about all of the different atrocities that take place within inside of the prison systems, right? Looking to get prison systems closed and shut down to actually bring about some real reform. No one wants to be a prisoner. However, somewhere, somehow, down the line, somebody started promoting that this was the thing to do. You know, let's be this so we can go to prison and then talk about how cool it is. No, not at all. By any means. I'm a prisoner to nothing, to no one. Freedom. Right? However, it's just what has been fed to certain groups, to certain societies, is that your freedom is going to come at the highest cost, and the highest cost is going to be imprisonment. Right? Because they're taking on and adapting a certain mind frame of criminality rather than constructiveness. Right? Rather than building, they're tearing down. Right? However, they've been brought up, bred, fed, and shown that mind frame. Right? Especially for the African American community, right? The slavery barely ended not too long ago. Real talk. When you think about how long the nation has been up and running, and how long ago slavery ended.
Actually ended,
you know, and in certain parts of the world, real talk, and in certain parts of the country, I mean, those practices are still taking place, right? It's the mind frame.
Yep.
right? So from the pimping to the drug dealing to, you know, the human trafficking to the robberies and all of these different things, right? These are thought processes that have been passed down, right, generation after generation. But there are those who desire to break that curse, that lineage of thought, which is why we have the men and women that we hail as the great ones of our time.
And I guess those things have been promoted as cool is because they get that money.
And you know, the thing about it is this: it's only a piece of paper, real talk, and it's not even about having it, but what are you doing with it? Right, that's the biggest thing about it. Like, what are you doing with that? What am I gonna do with that? Right, and the statement has been made that what uh, the love of money is the root of all evil. Right, not at all. I love money. I love what it allows me to do, how it allows me to help. Right. However, it could be the root of all evil had I had a evil mind frame and a means of going about attaining it. Then yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
right? I love it so much that I'm willing to commit these atrocities, and that'd be the root of all evil, you know, for me as the individual wanting to commit these atrocities for it.
Willing
How
to oppress people with it.
absolutely, you know, but going about it in the means that we are, right? Adding value to others, sowing positive seeds, giving in charity, right? Having those things that are for profit and those things that are non-profit, actually building the community, understanding that you reap what you sow, loving money, and then taking those actions brings about the wealth. Right, so it was those things that I found myself imitating, and it was just like, you know what, I don't want to. Like, real talk.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
100%. And there's nothing y'all can tell me, or there's nothing y'all can say to me that's gonna make me want to. I don't want to. Like, I would love, and which is why I do, to just hop in the whip and slide down to the beach and just chill on the pier and read, smoke some bud, get hungry, eat some pizza, feed a homeless dude,
Yeah.
slide off, and not be concerned with anything else.
Yep.
Not he looking at
Freedom.
me this way, the cop looking at me this way, freedom, bro. Period, point blank. I actually made a song about it that's coming from it. And what do I want, man? The same thing as everybody else, yo. Freedom. Real talk. Everybody would love the freedom to do what they want, when they want, with whomever they want, as frequently as they want, without being concerned with the cost because they have sufficient. Which is why UV Life Foundation is out here, right? And I'm representing it to the best of my ability to be able to build a circular economy starting in the Inland Empire, right? As an emperor myself, to where we can have that so the criminal activities can die down dramatically, right?
Give
Like,
other options.
man, give super options. The Boys and Girls Club in San Bernardino. I slid down to that facility because I was looking for a spot to hold a basketball tournament for one of the nonprofits that I rock with, named Rolling Start Inc. Shout out to Rolling Start, yo. Look them up. They have a facility in San Bernardino off of Hunt Street, and they have one in Victorville off of Victor Street. They work with the elderly population. They work with those that need living assistance, and they work with those that are of either a mental and or physical disability status, right? And they're helping all of these different aspects of the community become independent in their living. I slide down to the Boys and Girls Club in San Bernardino, speak with one of the gentlemen there. He was working with the San Bernardino Parks and Rec. And he gives me a tour of the facility. Bro, fantastic. Okay? Full basketball court, full kitchen, full game room, full dance studio with the mirrors everywhere, full recording studio area. I mean, padded room, mic booth, everything, pool tables, all kind of stuff.
Yes.
Deserted. I mean, full baseball, diamond field in the back, full soccer field. I mean, so much potential right there in the heart of San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Deserted.
People don't know about it.
Nothing's happening.
No one knows about it.
And it's like, yo, how can we get more activities, opportunities, get the people out of the houses, you know what I'm saying? Get them to come out here and hang and bang and build, right? It'd be magnificent to have the community come out here, like pass out flyers, get something going, have the community come out here and rebuild it, paint it, clean it up, get it all going. That way they know that they had a hand in it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and they'll bring those activities. I mean, bro, dance classes.
It's unlimited.
I mean, there's so
it's
much. Like I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Lady Bass Music. Shout out to Lady Bass Music. She's my favorite harpist. Right, she plays the harp. She holds classes. That'd be a dope connect for her to go out there once or twice a week, hold some classes. You know what I'm saying? Bring some to the community. Hold some for free. Hold some for pay. See what happens. Right.
Yep.
Same thing with, I mean, I do music. There's other brothers and sisters out here that write music, this, that, and the other. Man, have music classes down there. Come down here. Let me show you how to write a song, count a bar, ride the beat. So much potential.
Yeah, it's unlimited. It's unlimited.
So that's the goal, bro. I don't know how we got here, but we got here.
Yeah. Baby steps.
Right. I don't know how we got here, but we got here, bro.
We're going to get there. I think we got there because we were talking about giving young men and men other avenues besides that stereotypical route, right?
That's right.
I wanted to ask you, since you talked about growing up on the like living on the streets within the Inland Empire, do you ever get any like PTSD, like driving around certain spots? Like, man, I used to fucking sleep on that fucking corner.
No, not at all.
Okay.
But seeing other people sleep on the same corners that I've slept on, or the same bus stops that I've slept at. It's like, man, how much has really changed? So damn, what can I do about it? And that's literally the whole movement of UV Light. I was working at a warehouse, and I kept hearing the suicide rate for young men and men in general, boys and men, it just kept going up. And I'm like, man, what's going on, right? And I'm at work, supposed to be working. Right, but I'm listening to it on YouTube because I'm improving myself, because I know I'm not gonna be working in this warehouse forever, dude. Like, not at all.
What they have you doing in the warehouse?
Man, stacking shelves. I was working at a paper company, bro. Paper's heavy. Okay.
Depending on the sheets.
Yo, paper's no, forget all of that, yo. Well, yeah, absolutely, but paper's heavy. Like boxes. I was like, my goodness, I didn't realize how heavy paper could be. Like, that was a solid workout. I used to love working there because I got my sweat on. It was fantastic. But man, this commercial came on, or ad as they call it. That's how old I am, bro. I call it a commercial. Commercial comes on, and it's talking about reaching out. If a person hears about suicide, if it's in their family, this, that, and the other, the rate of suicide for young boys has gone up like 5 times higher than young girls. Then boom, I get a call. It's moms. Moms hit me. Baby, keep your cousin in prayer. He just lost his 12-year-old son to self-strangulation. I'm like, man, what's
like
going on?
Yourself?
Yeah. I'm like, man, right? Distant relative, no real communication or interaction with him. I was just like, man, not only was I hearing it, on this ad in YouTube, now moms is hitting me with it. So I'm like, dude. Right, from then on, I just jumped into looking into different resources for boys and men concerning suicide prevention, mental health awareness, looking for journals and all of that. For the young ladies, I found all kinds, man, hundreds, thousands, you know what I'm saying? I'm a princess this, you're a queen that, own your world, go ahead and slay diva, or what have you, right? And then for the young boys and men, it was like journal or composition book or, fucking punch today in the face or something. It's like, dude, that's not helping, right? That's not what I'm looking for, right? And it was just like, bam, I began creating because we needed it. And it was just like, that was the birth of UV Light. To now be sitting here talking about the goal is to create a circular economy, to, open up businesses and, open up the community center for real. And let's see how we can get these bodies off the streets. Like, everywhere I go, it's like I'm looking for the homeless because I know what it's like and I know what it feels like, right? And deep down inside, I say, man, I'm coming. For whoever is out there who is really looking to get off the streets, yo, I'm coming.
Find you.
Man, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Yo, like whatever that looks like, yo, like I'm coming. Right? One of my colleagues did a food giveaway for Thanksgiving last year. Shout out to SoCal Trash Army Red. You know what time it is. That's my girl, yo. She's a big a big light in the community, and she had, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 400 meals that were donated from like a Buddhist monk temple or something like that that's here in San Bernardino. And one of my mentees and I, man, we went out and man, jumped in the whip, filled everything up, and we hit these streets, yo. And I was wearing the UV light logo and all of that, and passing out the food, and it was people were like, man, what church are you from? This, that, and the other. I'm like, nah, bro, no church, like no religion, no none of that. This is just human kindness, like real talk. Like when you see this logo, like the UV light logo, just know, bro, like there's hope on the way, because light is hope for everyone. If anyone has ever been trapped in anything dark, right? Dark room, dark alley, dark anything. The smallest glimpse of light lets you know hope. Why? Because if light got in, that means there's a way for you to get out of this darkness.
It's gonna guide you.
Man, it's going to guide you. It's going to lead you right on out.
Why I love lighthouses so much.
Exactly. See, so with that, man, everything was born from the suicide rate. Just kept hearing about it increasing for the young boys and men. Knowing how homelessness can lead a person to want to commit suicide and things of that magnitude, hanging and banging with those that are out there in the streets, sleeping underneath the freeways and the bridges and all of that. And it's like, man, I'm coming. I could get one.
So
That's it.
yeah.
I get one. I get one, bro. Man, mission accomplished, right? Real talk. Man, helped you clean up, helped you, you know what I'm saying, just by being a guiding light. Showing them what it looks like. It can be done. The processes that I've taken, point them down, the right path, show them some resources. It's definitely going to be on them, but knowing that I was able to plant a seed here, a seed there, and watch it grow, cool. Not concerned about the growth, just concerned about the seed planting. If they allow for the seed to be planted, there's a possibility it'll take root. From there, good to go. Because the fruit has to yield from the seed. And as long as the seed is good, it's going to produce good fruit.
Simple as that.
Right.
I love being aligned because, you jumped into my next question, which was going to talk about UV light. And it's so perfect. So, we talked a little bit about why you decided to start the program. It came from like hearing about the suicide rate increasing in young men, right? And men in general, technically. To go a little bit deeper, can you explain exactly what is UV light and what you guys do with the program?
All right, cool. So UV are my initials, Ulysses Valor, right? And UV light, right? An actual UV light, if I'm not mistaken, is the purest of all of the lights. It actually purifies. It magnifies. Like it's the intense of all of the lights, or the intenseness. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't think I said that right.
Light.
There we go. Yeah, the UV light, right? It's the strongest of the lights. So with that, it was just like, oh man, that's just too beautiful, right? It was just too easy. UV, Ulysses Valor, light, because what do I want to do? I want to bring light. Every time somebody sees me, they see light. You can only see what I project, and I can only project what I first see concerning me. So in order for you to see light, I have to first see light. A lot of healing and rebuilding of my self-worth, my self-esteem, right? My self-love. A lot of that had to take place in order for me to even consider doing something of this magnitude, right? So with that, it was just like, dude, in order to, as a matter of fact, I seen something earlier today that said, be the energy that you want to receive. That makes sense. If I want to receive positive energy, be positive. I'm not going to receive it from everyone, because not everyone wants to be positive. Some people want to be combative. Some people want to be aggressive. And if they are, cool, no response, don't interact, don't engage, right? Like attracts like. So the UV light was Ulysses Valor, right? And it's shining that light, being that guiding light, that hope, right? Because that was the first line of journals that I created. It was the 5 Reasons to Never Give Up series, where I gave 5 reasons on the cover of each journal to never give up from A through Z. So A was, I am awesome, I am abundant, I am attractive, I am appealing, I am, amazing. Right? These are the 5 reasons to never give up. And if the person's name was Anthony, then they can buy the 5 reasons to never give up journal that had the A's, can say all of these to himself and be like, I am Anthony. Right? Then I went A through Z, and that was the light that I wanted to shine initially, starting with these journals. Right? So that's how UV light came about.
Like affirmations.
Affirmations, absolutely. And self-programming. Right? Because we hear regularly what we already hear, and we're bombarded by things that we don't intentionally want to hear, no matter where we go. Right? So I know for a fact that it makes a lot of sense and is very detrimental to my well-being if I speak nothing but the good concerning myself. Right? I don't need anyone else to critique me. I critique myself. Right? I don't need anyone else's judgment. I judge myself. I know where I fall short, and I know where I need to work on, and then I have at it from there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what allows me to actually grow. So from there, bro, that journal series came about, and the music just, it lined up with it. And it was like, okay, if there's one thing that I know will stick with the person and that can also be timeless, is a great song. So the music that I put it out to where it can be a household name, right? No profanity. Women aren't being degraded. I'm not killing up the neighborhood, right? I'm not like demeaning anyone. Everything is self-reflection. Everything is positive. Everything is growth, and everything is building the community. You know, with some activist traits coming in the next few songs as well. Got to touch on some things that I seen being out here in the community. Man, from there, I was introduced to Rolling Start Inc. through a brother I met. Shout out to Kaim Ben Yisrael. I met this brother at a event. We were doing a Juneteenth event. He got up and he did some bars. I got up and I did some bars, and it was like some good vibes. And I was like, bro, where are you stationed? Like, what part of the IA you from? He was like, oh, I live right here underneath this bridge. I'm like, bro, what? He was like, yeah, bro, I live underneath this bridge. Man, come to find out, money really did, right? So I went to go hang and bang with him, pick him up, just do some community service kind of things, you know what I'm saying? Looking out for the community. And then he introduced me to Roll and Start because they were helping him out with like bus passes and certain things to get food or whatnot. He was taking some video and music courses at one of the local colleges. Roll and Start, they out here helping the people. So he ends up introducing me to the executive director and the managers and all of the people there because he frequents there. And from there, he was giving a poetry workshop. I'm like, check this out, man. This brother living under a bridge, and he out here giving a poetry workshop, like doing his best to, be the best version of himself to get out of the situation he's in. Man, I walk in with a box of journals, and I'm having my brother look through them. But before I do so, I see a young lady getting out of the truck, and she has a wheelchair and all of that, and she's getting ready to go in. And this was before the brother introduced me to her, because come to find out, she was the executive director. And I asked her if she needed help coming inside of the building. I seen her with her wheelchair and all of that. I got a box full of journals. I mean, niceties. Yo, by any chance, would you like some help? And she was like, oh, no, that's okay. And I was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, that's fine. She was like, who are you? She said it just like that. Who are you? I was like, oh, I'm Ulysses. I'm here for X, Y, and Z. And she was like, oh, okay, I'm the executive director. You know what I'm saying? This is my jump off. I'm like, okay, that's what's up.
Okay.
So I'm glad I showed some niceties. From there, she was hearing the commotion that we had going on concerning the journals, how they looked, an idea that I had concerning putting something together for young men, and she jumped on it. She was like, man, this sounds amazing. Her name is Lisa Hayes. Shout out to Lisa Hayes at Rolling Star Inc. In San Bernardino. She was like, man, Ulysses, this is wonderful. We don't have anything like this for the men. So I let them see I gave her some journals for her to pass around to her colleagues, and man, since then I've been on their calendar twice a month. One, the second Monday in San Bernardino and the fourth Monday in Victorville, holding what I like to call the M4 Mindful Masculinity workshops for boys and men, where I teach mindful masculinity.
What are some of the other services that UV Light does?
Outside of the journals, the workshop, live performances. My partner and I, we just finished a 12-week contract with KCAA Radio. We did a podcast series over there, Tribe and Grit.
Okay.
Come out and do whatever it is y'all looking for. We, meaning myself and Tribe and Grit, my partner. Hey, yo, shout out to Tyrone. Tyrone, what up, my G? Yeah. We went to go hang and bang with Handy Blessed Hands in Moreno Valley. A brother out there is working diligently with the youth, and he had 15 youth come out on a Saturday. I passed out some journals, some mindful masculinity journals with them, and man, we had a beautiful session. So we do make house calls. We come out to the community, man, whatever it is that y'all looking for. If y'all need a light, light will show up. And the way that Tribe and Grit has it, my main sponsor, is if there's something that I can't do, if there's something that I'm not doing, like Tribe and Grit will help you find whatever it is you need to be able to, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about building the community, like all the way around. So yeah, live performances, workshops, working
Mentoring.
on mentoring, tutoring, got the clothing line going, the UV Light fashion. Got some stuff with that coming, backpack giveaways and all of that.
I love that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So much is coming. Oh.
And with that, a lot of connecting. Real
Networking?
talk, a lot of connecting. Two of my favorite books of all time concerning this process as my journey of discovering and becoming the best version of myself will forever be The Go Giver and The Power of Nice. Okay, those two books have revolutionized the way that I've seen business, networking, interactions. Everything. So The Power of Nice. That's by Linda Kaplan Thaler and Robin Koval. And then The Go Giver is by Bob Berg and John David Mann. Word. Those two books, The Go Giver and The Power of Nice.
Okay, write them down, folks.
Yeah.
Write them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for those books, man. Perfect. I'm gonna put that in.
Yeah. Good books, yeah.
Mindful masculinity.
Yes.
Right. Is the mic cool?
It moved. So
Okay.
we solid now. It still look good. We solid. Can you see the logo?
We'll do. Yeah.
How's that?
Good. Perfect.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they gonna see.
They're gonna see.
The Empire.
Y'all gonna learn today.
Absolutely.
Y'all gonna learn today.
Absolutely.
Mindful masculinity, right?
Empire Emperors. Let's get it.
Hello. Do you think masculinity is under attack?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
The reason why I ask is because, you've been hearing a term a lot called toxic masculinity.
Right.
And so that's the reason why I brought it up, is because, it's like masculinity is needed in order to help balance femininity and to help, let men be men.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to ask if you thought that masculinity was under attack.
Masculinity, no.
Okay.
No, not genuine, true
Masculinity?
masculinity. No,
Okay.
not at all. What's being stated as toxic masculinity is just the toxicity of the person. It's the person that doesn't have emotional self-control, regulation. It's the person that hasn't practiced self-improvement, self-development, right? Literally self-control. Interesting how all of these phrases start with self.
Mm-hmm. Self-reliant.
Right. Right. So self-control. People will say, oh, I don't know what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? Man, I was out of control. No, you know exactly what you were thinking. You were thinking that. And rather than, being rational about it, one just instantly operates off of impulse.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than taking that moment to reason with oneself and actually consider all outcomes, because a person is never out of control. A person always knows what they're thinking. You can always tell what a person is thinking by watching what they do.
Their actions.
Period, point blank. Right? So with that, is masculinity under attack? No, by no means. Because true, genuine, pure masculinity is received and reverenced and welcomed and loved and appreciated all the way around because it's mindful, right? It's what we teach concerning the M4. It's full of virtue, and that's the gist behind mindful masculinity. It's being rooted in virtue. When you look up the word virtue, one of the definitions is manly excellence, and I love that. And that was one thing that I brought to the young men when I was with Handy Blessed Hands out in Moreno Valley. It's like, yo, check this out. How many of you want to be an excellent man? If you want to be remembered for anything, wouldn't you want to be remembered for your excellence? If you want anybody to say anything about you, like, yo, that dude's excellent, right? Nobody wants to say, oh, man, that dude's full of shit. Nobody really wants that, right? Man, that dude is excellent. Okay, so how do you become an excellent man? Be a man of virtue. Well, what does that look like? Right, and then we break down the synonyms to virtue, those things that encompass what a virtuous man looks like. Bro, you find compassion, consideration, trustworthiness, truthfulness, loyalty, generosity. Right? You don't find violence and bigotry and racism and greed and slander and mischievousness. You don't find these things. Right, so genuine masculinity, that masculinity that is rooted in virtue, the one that opens the doors, pulls out the chairs, protects the babies, the masculinity that builds the community, that teaches self-control. Like, hold on, my old coach, when I was homeless and I was bouncing around, there was a gentleman that I met. His name was Coach Vernell, and he had a boxing gym called the Blitz, and he would let me come through there, and I could answer the phone for him, and I'd be able to sweep up and things of that magnitude, and he'd let me eat there, and you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I could even crash there. Good dude. And I remember I was like, man, I don't know what I was thinking because I got into an argument. And I was like, man, I don't know what I was thinking. And he was like, no, you know exactly what you was thinking. And I was like, no, man, this person made me. He was like, no, nobody has control over you but you. And then he broke it down. He was like, yo, there's two types of fires. I always remember this story because I love it. He was like, there's two types of fires. He said, you got that wildfire, right? It destroys, it consumes, it burns down.
It's out of control.
It's out of control, right? It kills and it murders and And then there's that controlled fire. The fire that can warm up the house and you know what I'm saying, you can use it to cook food and you can use it to power certain things, this, that, and the other. He was like, right now, he said you gotta get that wildfire under control. Don't be one that destroys. Don't be one that consumes. Be one that comforts. Interesting. Because fire does that. It can be one that consumes or it could be one that comforts. And I was like, yo, you know what? And on as well, it was just like all of these little nuggets, all of these little seeds throughout my journey of bouncing around, living with other people, seeing so many things. All of that allow for the shaping of the personality before you, right? And being able to develop from all of that. So, no, genuine masculinity, real masculinity, nah, dude, it's not under attack.
Yeah.
For those individuals who are walking around portraying
Masculinity.
what they believe masculinity to be, because to be masculine means to be born to male gender. Has nothing to do with muscle size or strength. It has nothing to do with, sexual accomplishments. It has nothing to do with money earned, positions held. It has nothing to do with those things. Masculinity, to be born to male gender. I am the full embodiment of masculinity just by being born male. Period.
I guess people need to come under the same definition of what masculinity is in order to come to agreement to what it is or what it isn't. And I think that's what people get confused about.
Right.
Toxic masculinity.
Because a toxic person is a toxic person.
Period.
And what
Toxic femininity.
And here's the thing, it's still just a toxic person.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not toxic femininity unless we're looking at just the individual female at that moment. right? Because she doesn't represent all femininity. She just represents the
Herself.
all of her femininity.
Mhm.
Her femininity can be aggressive. Her femininity can be docile. Her femininity can be however she gonna portray herself to be, but she's the full embodiment of her femininity as the individual. She don't represent all women,
Yeah,
and that's
completely.
something else. A lot of people, I believe, don't have a clear reasoning of understanding. If that makes sense,
Yeah, no, like they'll put everybody in the same category.
can't do that.
All black people like this. All these people are like this.
I'm literally one person. When I walked in here representing one person.
but people like to put you under a blanket, and I guess to a degree we do represent, a community just off of imagery. Whether we want to admit it or not. But I
But-
won't go too deep into
But
that.
then, what community would that be? Because this image is everywhere. Real talk. Because Barack could be anything.
You said
right?
Barack?
No, I said, bruh,
Oh, okay.
Bruh, I could be anything, right? I could be Cuban, Dominican, Haitian, Jamaican, Panamanian. Hell, I could be Mexican.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah. Aren't you Ugandan?
Come on now. I could be Australian. Facts. So just because my hue is as dark as it is, don't believe you know anything about me. Other than the fact that I'm tan.
Perspective.
Period. That's it. You know nothing else about me until I open my mouth. Nothing else. Right? So don't instantly assume, but it happens. Right? It does. It happens. And that's why certain things will always remain until people just get away from that. Like it's not some, oh, he's handsome for a black guy.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Mhm.
Or you know what I'm saying, she's pretty for a white girl. Or you know what I'm saying?
Bunny.
Or he's handsome for a Latino, or he a cute white man.
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting.
Why can't he just be handsome?
Yeah, it's so interesting because what you're talking about reminds me of, I have a chapter in my book. It's called Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. And it gets into a part that, as human beings, biologically, we have to judge things to protect ourselves, right? It's just a biological instinct. Okay, I have to,
Absolutely.
is this person dangerous? What, and stuff like that. But it just reminded me of that. But I also wanted to get into when you talked about the fire being either warm or dangerous. That also reminded me of other elements like water you can drown in water, but you can't live without water.
Mm.
Wind could be a nice breeze, or it can be a tornado and
Mm.
destructive. So it's so interesting thinking about elements like that. Yeah, as far as mental health, I wanted to get into this question, which is, do you believe there's a mental health crisis out here?
For who?
Man,
Like for all of humanity, the Inland Empire, or what?
what does your instinct say? Because I guess it's from my instinct. It's kind of where we consider home, right? Where you consider home right now, which I guess we can consider the Inland Empire at the moment. Do you think there's a mental crisis out here, and then you can also broaden it if you feel so?
Well, I mean, yes. From a home and local perspective to a worldwide perspective, yeah, there's a mental health crisis in the sense that human trafficking is $1 billion business. Don't even want to call it a business like that. Human trafficking shouldn't even be in the same sentence as business, yet it yields billions of dollars.
Yeah, those two words you think wouldn't even be in the same category.
Human trafficking.
Yeah.
Right? I went down to a 8-hour symposium with the Coalition Against Sexual Exploitation. It was against human trafficking that was held a couple months ago. And the organization is called CASE, Coalition Against Sexual Exploitation. $1 billion industry, human trafficking. Why is this okay? Where in the minds of anyone is that shit okay?
Yeah.
To be out here just snatching up people, selling them, raping them, treating them any kind of way that they want to.
It's basically kind of like it's like slavery, like forced slavery, right?
It is slavery. 100% slavery. still taking place. People are like, oh, slavery ended. Dude, it's still taking place. Human trafficking is $1 billion industry. Yeah, it's a mental health crisis, my G. Why is that even a thing? People say the war on drugs. What the war on drugs? Real talk, the war on drugs is just to see who controls it the most.
Mm-hmm. Who has the power?
Who has the power over it? I mean, why does fentanyl exist? I mean, certain drugs, if I'm not mistaken, exist because they were formulated to help certain, diseases and things of that magnitude. But, I mean, hey, a mind frame full of debauchery and detestable imaginations will do whatever it chooses to do, which would then take me back to, is there a mental health crisis? I mean, yet and still, yeah, bro. I mean, I believe we're all, God consciousness, and God consciousness exists everywhere at all times to the best of its ability, doing whatever it wants to because it's God consciousness. It's omnipotent and infinite and will imagine as many different things as it wants to. If I'm not mistaken, something along the line says, I create war and I create peace.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what aspect we're looking at, spiritually or not, but as far as, just on some human connectivity, yeah, bro, humongous crisis.
It's crazy now that when you talked about it, because initially I think when people say, "Oh, mental health crisis," we think about people on the streets or people with like, schizophrenia, but then it also thinks like those people who are funding and running like a human trafficking ring have some mental issues themselves
That's a mental health issue,
to
my
be
G.
okay with it.
100%. That's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
A mental health issue all the way around. As a matter of fact, and at times, it's even been shown, I mean, in movies and television shows and what have you, the person who's committing said atrocity loses their shit when said atrocity is committed against them.
The irony?
The irony. Dude is mafia boss, sex trafficker, what have you,
Mm-hmm.
makes his living, her living, makes their living off of horrendous acts committed against mankind.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody does something to their child or cousin or relative or this, that, and the other, and they can't believe it.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of like, don't get high on your own supply.
What are we talking about? Yeah, bro, mental health crisis, absolutely. The people who, suffer from schizophrenia and hallucinations and all of those things, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones who are deliberately acting out these atrocities, knowing, fully knowing,
Yeah.
right and wrong, fully knowing, because if it happens to them, fully knowing.
Yeah. You know what this makes me think of? And I have to ask you this. I guess it's the two things, but I guess it's easier just to ask this way. Do you believe in a heaven and a hell? Like, or an afterlife, I guess another way to say. And it makes me think about this because we're talking about people committing atrocities, right? And so I personally believe that um, every action has a probable reaction, right? And so these people may have a reaction for their deeds. So I just wanted to know, do you believe in such a thing?
Okay. As far as an afterlife, to me, that doesn't make any sense
Mm-hmm.
when you think about the two words,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there is nothing after life, right? Life is always living. So realistically, there can't be anything after life, which is why so many different religions and spiritual teachings out there say that this is just a veil. And when I pass from this life, right, there will be another life.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not necessarily just after life. My G, that's just from life to life. Just a life cycle, like being a caterpillar to a butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
right? So believing in something after life, I can't believe in anything after this because I only know this. I only know life, right? Now, a heaven and hell, somewhere that someone will go once they leave the shell that they're in, I can't call that either, my G. I've
Mhm.
never been. Right? Now, a heaven and a hell concerning what a person experiences as their conscious. I mean, I do believe that exists. A person can have heaven on earth, and a person can have hell on earth. Right? So it really does depend. But with that, I mean, I got nothing.
Okay.
I got
Okay.
nothing, honestly.
I got you.
Because who's truly to say?
I guess it's-
100%, my
yeah.
G. Who's truly to say? Like, yo, I've been dead 60 years and came right back. And was like, yo, I'll let you know exactly what this is like.
Gotcha. I guess it's just one's belief, right? It's one's belief only.
I mean, and people associate sleep with death. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, where do I go when I go to sleep for real? Like the consciousness of I. Where do I go?
Mhm.
Right? Like that concept of consciousness being life and being God and being being the only thing that there is really hit home when I was watching my pops lay on his deathbed being brain dead. Like his body was functioning, you know what I'm saying? He can make certain gestures and noises and things of that magnitude, but he wasn't there.
Mhm.
And that's the only thing I kept thinking. Where is he at? That's the only thought I had, yo.
Gotcha. Any assumptions? Did you have any assumptions?
Where'd he go?
Did you have any assumptions? Gotcha.
No clue. I'm like, where's he at? Right? Because his eyes are open, his body's moving, things are functioning.
Mm-hmm.
But he himself, that which made him him.
Mm-hmm. His consciousness.
His consciousness. His consciousness. Not the consciousness that allows the body to keep moving, but the consciousness that recognizes itself as I. Right? The I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Only one in existence ever says I am, and that's God.
Yeah, I am.
Period. Anything, anywhere in existence, if it says I am, is a piece of the whole. If it acknowledges itself, so I'm like, man, where did that part go? Where did his I am go? Because everybody can call on his name and all of that, but he wasn't there. Where'd that go? Scientists and doctors can say what they want, right? Like, oh, man, the wire was this, that, and the other cut off, and, you know, his brain went so long without oxygen due to the heart attack that he had, what have you. I get all of that. All of that makes sense. I understand what y'all saying. But where the hell did he go?
Yeah, where he at?
Where'd he go?
Yeah, because he's still going to the bathroom. He's still eating.
But where's he at?
Yeah. Where's his essence?
Where's his essence? Right? So with the whole afterlife and things of that magnitude, my G, I don't know. Now, as far as the heaven and hell is concerned in the sense of people being rewarded and people being damned based on their actions, it's like, if all consciousness is God, and it has been stated, I create war and I create peace, then realistically, in the eyes of God, there shouldn't be anything right or wrong. Everything just is. Right? And then, because we are those of moral beings who believe some things are of an atrocity in nature, there should be some form of, recompense or punishment. The way that it was broken down by a gentleman by the name of Alan Watts, it was like the decaying of an apple. It's like the apple is dying and you see all the death, but there's actually organisms that are alive that are taking care of the decomposing properties, right? So even in that death, there is this life. And though it may seem like this organism is destroying this one and these little things are fighting and they're at war with each other, all of that literally has to take place in order for the decomposition to take place, for the seed to be resown, to fertilize the ground, for the plant to grow. I mean, even your body and my body right now, that's what's taking place. Little organisms are in there eating each other. One is destroying this one, the other one's destroying that one on a microscopic level. It looks like, anarchy and chaos and, terror and, oh my God, that thing just killed that thing. But if that's not taking place, then I don't exist in totality.
It's the circle of life.
It's the circle of life, right? So with all of it, it's like, will a person have to pay per se for what they've done, man,
Mhm.
that person would know, my G. And if that is the case, as it has been stated, you reap what you sow.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to reap it and sow it in this life, I don't see why I wouldn't reap it and sow it in the next stage of life. Caterpillar, butterfly, right?
Mm-hmm. Tadpole, froggy frog.
Right? So same creature, just different life cycles.
Yeah. Evolution.
That's it. Same
Yeah.
creature though. Right? So the frog ain't gonna hop around talking about some I ain't never been no tadpole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Life before this, no, this always just been your life. When you were a tadpole, you were a tadpole. Now you're a frog, you're a frog.
Mm-hmm.
So afterlife, not necessarily sure. Because I don't remember being born. I always know that I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
But when did I come to knowing I was I?
Yeah. When did you know that you are?
Right.
I am.
Right.
I am.
When did I come to the knowledge of I am?
The consciousness of knowing self. Yes. Great question.
I'll never know when I wasn't here. I'll always know that I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
So that means there can never be a time of knowing when I've never been. There can never be a time of knowing that I'm not.
Got you. You guys got your mind blown on that one, ladies and gentlemen? You guys, little mind blown?
Did that conversation make sense?
Yeah, it made sense to me, but I hope every
Did that conversation make sense,
you guys,
bro?
you can hit the blunt now if you guys need it. If you guys need to hit the blunt, you may hit the blunt. You may hit it, or ash it. Hit the ash. You can do that now.
Yeah.
It might be a long ash going on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ulysses. Thank you. Man. Thank you. Bro, I wanted to know if you want to play a game with us.
Snap. Yeah.
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 Okay. So this segment's called Memorable Moment.
Okay.
Right. So I want you to give me a second here. Look at this painting here and tell me.
It's a painting?
Tell me drawing it. Tell me what you think.
No, let me show the people the painting.
They'll see it. They'll see it.
Okay, they're gonna see the painting.
Tell me what you think is happening in the drawing.
Some dude standing on a milk crate. Old school, like 1980 boombox. And he's dreaming of being a artist. He's dreaming of being a rap artist or maybe a singer. Who knows?
Sweet. Flip it over. Tell us what it says.
325. When I first thought about rapping, I'm standing on the milk crate listening to K-Day and lip syncing to the songs. That's what's happening. Okay.
Gotcha. And who's it by? Did it say who it's by?
Anthony Stone.
Perfect.
Okay.
Nice. And I'll take that from you.
Word.
No.
Who's Anthony Stone?
Comedian from the IE. And I wanted to know if you'd do us an honor and draw us a memorable moment that happened in your life. Yes? No?
I don't know, bruh.
You don't have to overthink it. It can be simple.
I kind of do gotta overthink that one.
Wait, would you like to draw a memorable moment for us?
You know what? I do, as a matter of fact. Okay.
Go.
I got one. Yeah.
And then here's the pen.
I got one. Let's see. This not gonna look anything like what I think it's about to look like.
That's fine.
We're gonna see.
Thank you for participating.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Man, I do got a couple questions, but okay, my instincts telling us to go this way. How did you know that people like Tyrone from Tribe and Grit, Rolling Star, and Indian Health Inc. were great people to be partners with?
Because I didn't approach them. They were attracted. I believe your vibe will attract your tribe.
Okay.
I heard a brother by the name of Kevin Gates say,
The rapper?
I believe so. I've
Okay.
never listened to his music.
Mhm.
Yeah, I seen a YouTube short of him. I only know him from the YouTube shorts.
Okay.
Real talk. But the brother said, flowers don't chase the bees. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The flowers attract the bees by giving out You know what I'm saying? The perfume, the pollen, all of those things, the nectar that the bees need. Like, the flowers don't chase the bees.
Mm-hmm.
They attract them. Your vibe will attract your tribe, right? So with that, it was real easy because I was just being me,
Mm-hmm.
being the best version of me, seeing the best version of myself, and, telling myself what that looks like, operating in that, and knowing that as the last chapter I read in Super Attractor, right? Do less, attract more.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am being me. I met Tyrone from Tribe and Grit. I went to a networking event for a online dispensary, Canna
Okay.
Globe, which I actually bought into. I'm actually a business owner now through Canna Globe. I have my own online dispensary. And when I walked in, uh, the lady who was giving the presentation, she was like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And my response, bro, I'm full of unshakable confidence. And when I said that, like, Tyrone did one of these, like out the corner. Uh, Sat through the networking event, you know what I'm saying, had at it. By the time I got to the parking lot, it was myself and Tyrone and his lovely wife, and we were, man, having conversation about what it is that I was on. I'm like, yo, I got the music, I got the journals, I got the clothing line. This is all I do. I don't do anything else. I'm out here doing this, building a community, building a nation, starting with the young boys and the men, having at it. Indian Health Inc. Shout out to my guy Jorge Luis Ruiz. His name's a tongue twister. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I kept popping up into each other. We just kept popping up, running into each other, and it was just like, bro, what's up? Like, for real. Went to my very first commission meeting in Rialto, sat in the very front of everyone. There were 2 empty seats. I sat in one, he sat in the other one. And it was like, bro, what's up? Who do you work for? I was like, do I work for me? You know what I'm saying? UV Light, this is who I am, this is what I do. He gave me his card, I gave him mine. Seen him again. The San Bernardino Department of Behavioral Health was having a function at the museum. I went there. It was my first time there. It was his first time there. We ran into each other again. He was like, bro, I love what you're talking about, what you do, this, that, and the other. Man, I gave him a box of journals. He took it to his superiors. I mean, they bought some. They helped fund the first bundle of journals for the workshop that I put together at Roll and Start. And man, kind of the same thing would, well, not kind of, but the same thing happened at Roll and Start. I already had the journals out. I was talking to my guy about it, like, yo, check this out. This is what I'm doing, this, that, and the other. Lisa rolled up and she was like, yo, this sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. We talked about her earlier. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
so it just
right.
made it really easy to connect with them because I didn't have to go out per se and look for them. Just by being self, being me, being the best that I can be, right?
The Illuminary.
That was it. It was just like, oh, okay, that's what's up. I like what you're talking about. I like how you're saying it. I like what you're doing. This, that, and the other. I appreciate it. I'm only gonna do this. So either you rock with me or you don't. And as I like to say, rejection's only redirection.
I love that. Man, it's so cool because hearing your story, it just kind of confirms, or reaffirms like, doing the, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing because other people recognize it and they believe in it as well, which I like to think is belief starts with self, right? Going back to the self thing again, right? Everything starts with self, but it's also very uplifting and reassuring when other people see the vision and recognize the vision and want to support the vision. It's really, from my opinion, it's really like soul fulfilling and soothing because it's like, okay, you guys, you get it. You get it. Like you get it. You know what I
It
mean?
builds that confidence. And that was
Yeah.
actually what I touched on the last workshop that I held at the Rolling Start Victorville facility was confidence. And it was broken down as an acronym, right? C is to construct the best version of yourself mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Once you have that version of yourself, like, what does that look like for you? Like, I tell myself I'm a healthy, wealthy, handsome, intelligent professional.
Okay.
Right? And I'm a polyglot. Working on that. Feel?
Okay.
So,
That's the multilingual, right?
so with that, C, construct the best version of yourself mentally. Right? Then from there you have the O, which is to outline. Right? Outline what that looks like. What do you have to do? Like, I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to, well, I'm a businessman. But this is where it started, right? I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to be one who was wealthy. I wanted to all of these different things. So what does that look like? I need to outline that. So in order to be wealthy and financially free, I got to study finance. Right? In order to be a businessman, I have to study business. In order to be a polyglot, I have to study these languages, which is where the library cards come in. Right? So that's the outline. Then the end was to navigate. I'm going to have to navigate the ups and downs. I'm going to have to navigate through all of the seasons, right? No matter what comes, right? So construct, outline, navigate. What's after that? We have the F, right? So the F of confidence was we're going to figure out. Figure out what works and what doesn't work.
Simple as that. Yep.
Man, period, point blank. We're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Right from there, we have the I of confidence. And right there, we are going to crap.
We're going to crap, folks.
No, we're not going to crap. What was the I? Oh, thank you. The I was identify. Identify. We're going to identify our strengths and our weaknesses.
Okay.
Right. We're going to want to strengthen our strengths and weaken our weaknesses. Right. We're going to identify opportunities. Right. So confidence. What do we have now? The D. Okay. So from there, we're going to devote. This is where a lot of people go wrong. They don't devote everything. Like, as far as me being healthy, wealthy, handsome, intelligent, a professional, a multimillionaire, one who's going to build the community, one who's going to create this circular economy, Nobel Prize recipient, all these different things, I literally have to devote my essence, my everything, my time, my willingness, my discipline. There is no, as we stated in the beginning, there is no half-ass. I got to devote everything. All right, so from there, after the D, we go into the E, and that's to enrich others.
Okay.
Right, so after I've devoted all of this time and I know that I'm going to devote everything into this, man, how do I get to where I really want to be? You know what I'm saying? To be the best version of myself, to be this healthy, wealthy, intelligent individual, this, that, and the other, right? By enriching others, right? Add value to others, right? And that's the main concept behind the UV Life Foundation, is to add value to others. I wake up every day, man, how can I add value to someone else? All right, so confidence, where are we at right now? We just did
We're on the
E.
N.
So we're on the
N.
N. So from the N, after we enrich others, right, we go to the N, which is to notate. And we're going to notate what? Our successes. All right, we're going to notate how far we've come down this confidence road of constructing the best image, outlining, navigating, finding out what works, what doesn't, identifying everything, devoting oneself, enriching others, right? So now we're going to notate all of our successes. This builds confidence, bro. We're going to notate the success. After that, we go to the C of confidence, right? After we notate all of the success and we see how far we've come, we celebrate. That's where the C comes in. So now we're going to celebrate. Come on now. You have to celebrate. You have to, take that time, stop, celebrate. Right. After you celebrate, we get to the last E of confidence, and that is to evolve. Evolve into what? The very first C, right? The construct that you have of yourself, of being the best version of yourself. That's where the last E of confidence comes in. You're going to evolve into that construct, bro. So that's how I broke confidence down at the last workshop in Victorville, bro. Knowing that other people seen the vision, heard the vision, felt the enthusiasm, seen the energy, and were like, you know what, that's what's up. Yeah, bro, it built that confidence because these are the steps.
Yeah, I noticed you like to do that a lot, is break down words into
acronyms.
Acronyms.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, the moment I started reading, it was just like, it was over after that, dude.
I think Ulysses' nickname is going to be Mr. Acronym. I'm calling him Mr. Acronym from now on. Hello, Mr. Acronym. How you doing?
I kid you not, bro. I started a card collection like some years ago. I called it Acronym Creations.
Okay. There we go.
Yep.
Mr. Acronym it is.
Only because of you, bro.
Yeah, I got you. I won't. If you don't want to be called it, I won't call you.
No, I'm solid with you, bro. That's funny. But somebody else gonna be like, "Hey, yo, Mr. Acronym" on the street because they seen this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it slide too. That's what's up. Heck yeah.
It's like, oh, Mr. Acronym. Give us an acronym for something. I got fleshy body. What do you got? Fleshy body. What do you got? F is for fantastic.
Fantastic.
I wanted to get into. I went into the brand, the clothing, and I forget what the word said before. There was a statement that said before, but it was just like, absolutely.
Oh yeah, loving myself.
Absolutely.
I
love it. It's a dope slogan.
Absolutely, I
love
appreciate
that.
that. That came about during this this rebuilding and evolving of oneself after the homelessness and all of the different things that would bring about some melancholiness.
Mm-hmm.
Really listening to the teachers that I've listened to, the books that I've read, and how they say it really is beneficial for you to speak to yourself about yourself in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not? I'm not gonna let you sit here and cuss me out. Why would I cuss me out? Right? It only makes sense if I'm gonna be upset at somebody else calling me X, Y, and Z. I might as well be as upset with myself. So I was rolling around. I was just humming this tune, and I was like, man, I didn't know what I wanted to do for that day. I'm like, man, what am I doing? Man, loving myself. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, not stressing. Absolutely. Life's a blessing. Absolutely. Hey, I've learned my lesson. Absolutely. I was in the car doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, how dope. And from there, the love of myself absolutely came out as one of the designs, and absolutely is spelled how you see it with the Z, because I didn't want to just spell absolutely. So I looked it up, and phonetically, it's actually spelled that way.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the Z, it's a S, so I changed it to be a Z.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that, absolutely. Yeah, so it's loving myself, absolutely. If
Yeah.
you're going to say anything about yourself, what you doing, man? Loving myself, absolutely.
It's so great that you mentioned talking to yourself positive, because I have a chapter in my book which is called Be Kind to Yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so easy for us to speak negative to ourselves and say downtrodden things. But once we be kind to ourselves and give ourselves a break and speak positive to ourselves, we do a lot better. We do a lot better. And I'm gonna give a suggestion. I think you should wear your brand more.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I know you mentioned the Hawaiian shirt and stuff like that, but I think you should wear your brand
Oh,
more.
the white better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you should wear your brand more.
Funny, you're not with me on a regular basis.
True, true. I
Right,
know we don't live
right,
together, folks.
Right,
We don't live
you're not
together.
with me on a regular basis.
Yeah, we don't live together.
Facts.
But
Hey.
the times that I have seen them, that reminds me. I was supposed to give you something. I forgot.
Hey, because when I step out when it's business, it depends on, you know what I'm saying? But
Okay,
I know I'm going somewhere else after.
got
You
you.
figure deal. So sometimes it depends. But I'm working on making it to where even stuff like this going to have a brand on it.
Got you.
Because I'm working on my grown man tailoring.
Got you.
Yeah.
Because I could see a shirt like that with just like the UV logo right over the
Beautiful. Yep.
Yep. Pocket.
Or even on the buttons.
Whatever you want.
Or even just right down here.
Whatever you want.
Oh, man, I have ideas, bro.
Yeah, whatever you want.
We just getting started.
We-
Literally. We just getting started,
It's
bro.
the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
It's the tip of the
As
iceberg.
stated, I got out here last year, beginning of May, dude. I was working, I was doing ABA therapy. I was working with children that have autism. I was doing in-home after-school services.
Mm.
And, man, was in Vegas, came back from Vegas, had some family out there. And before I fell asleep, I remember it was like literally the last day of April before I fell asleep. It was like, dude, you're not going to work for anybody else after this. Follow the butterfly. And I went to sleep. And I woke up the next morning, and I went and I quit my job. I said, yeah, I'm done. I appreciate everything. I love y'all, this, that, and the other. But I gotta go. Being called. Man, I'm being called. And look, it hasn't even been a year yet, bro.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
It hasn't even been a year yet, bro. And I'm just like,
Congratulations.
it's been nothing but growth.
Starts with self.
Man, it starts with self. And that's the first thing I did, bro. I locked myself away for about 4 months in the local library, bro. I just locked myself away. The people know me by heart. That's how I ended up becoming one of the tutors. Because I'm there every day, hours. When they open till they close, I'm in the back. I'm in the dungeon. I'm in upstairs. I'm downstairs. I'm in the garden, bro. Locked all the way. Got off my alchemy. And when it was time, it was like, yo, I'm out here now.
Mr. Valor, thank you for sharing, man. It's beautiful.
Appreciate you.
It's beautiful. It's good to hear. It's beautiful to hear, man. Because I do feel like, and 9 to 5 is not for everybody, but I do think 9 to 5 is for certain personalities, right?
Absolutely.
But I do think a lot of people are scared who want to leave. Because I do think certain personalities and certain characters, 9 to 5s, it kills us in the inside. It's like destructive, and we need to be free.
Man,
We need to be free,
man.
and to follow our butterfly. And I wanted to. Another question that I had was, why do you think the suicide rate in young men and in men in general have risen so much in the past 10 years? Why do you think it's risen so high?
Not an expert.
Of course,
Definitely couldn't even say something that would be accurate.
just want your opinion.
Lack of emotional guidance on how to deal with those frustrations, with those betrayals, with those hurts, with those losses. I mean, there's so many different things,
Mhm.
right? Young man likes someone, doesn't get a good grade, or who knows what's taking place inside of the household, right? We don't know what's happening inside of these households. Not everything is recorded. Not everything is reported. Right, so it could be so many different things.
Mhm.
Right, so situational. Is the household loving? Is the household, full of enthusiasm and pride and wholesomeness and things of that magnitude, or is it full of atrocities,
Mm-hmm.
right? Molestation and abuse and domestic violence. Right? Is the person being bullied? Did they consume something that now has their thoughts spinning out of their own control because now something has been fried due to taking a certain substance?
Mm.
Right? So there's so many different things.
Yeah.
But even in the midst of all of that, it would still be a lot of the emotional regulation, a lot of how to deal with those things because we don't get to choose the families we're born in. None of us.
Yeah. Because even grown men are committing suicide at alarming
Absolutely.
rates.
Absolutely. And that's from not having the assistance. That's from not having the backing, the support, the love that they felt that they needed. Because somebody can say, oh no, but the support is there and this is there and that is there. But was it there in the manner that they needed it? Because everyone's an individual. So yet and still carrying trauma, holding on to certain things, not having that release or not having a positive release.
Mm-hmm.
Some might have negative releases. Right? So it really is about controlling that urge, whatever it may be. If the people can hear my stomach, could y'all hear that? My stomach.
No, we can't hear.
Wow.
He's hungry.
Man.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but sorry, folks, you guys are hearing some of the noise outside. There's been a lot of beautiful noise happening today during our
Signs of
conversation.
life.
People
laughing on this end.
People slamming doors. But we're here. It's real. You can tell it's real. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you ever say that one of the reasons why suicide rates are the way they are for men is because people just don't care about a man's emotions? Something along those lines?
No.
Okay.
The thing is this though. One of the things that caused the UV light to be geared more toward boys and men. Well, one, because I was a boy who am now a man, right? So I can't speak for any other experience other than that one.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something that I realized concerning how men, and this is something I can say for the most part can be, general for men, is that when a man begins to express himself, he's either told to shut up, stop complaining, stop crying, stop bitching, suck it up. And none of those things lead nor guide us down the path of being able to control one's emotions. We're being shut down. We're being told to bottle it up, but that's not how things go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When pressure is built on anything that has a cap, that cap gonna explode. It has to. The pressure has to be released.
One way or another.
Right? So looking at one expressing themselves as being something that is only attributed to femininity is criminal. It does no justice for those of us who have emotions, which would be all of us. Unless a person has some form of a neurological condition where they literally just can't feel. Right? But other than that, we all cry. Crying doesn't make you weak. I heard it said once that since birth, crying has always meant you're alive. When the baby is born, the first thing we want to hear is crying. Right? So it's the stigma that has been placed on emotions that they're feminine in nature, and they're not. Emotions don't have a gender. But somewhere down the line, people start believing that emotions had genders. Like being compassionate or nurturing. I told you earlier that virtue was defined as manly excellence, and one of the attributes of a virtuous man was to be compassionate.
Yeah.
That sounds like it would be a male dominant emotion, but then again, if we look at man in the sense of human as humanity, women are also virtuous, which is why they are female, feminine male.
Womb man.
Right, that's all. So it's the notion of believing that emotions have a gender, that if a man cries or if a woman is aggressive, oh, well, she's masculine. No, she's just aggressive. Because to be masculine is to be born male gender. So she's not masculine, she's just aggressive. That's aggression. That's it. That's it, that's all. But she's forever feminine. She's just aggressive in her femininity. So it's not that the suicide rate and things have gone up because nobody's caring about the emotional state of men. It's just how it has been addressed. For instance,
Not addressed.
Or not addressed. As a matter of fact, there's an Old Spice commercial of a brother and two sisters, and they're in a therapy session. And it's supposed to be funny because the sister keeps using her man's like deodorant and body spray or something like that for Old Spice. But they're in a counseling session. And the woman says what she says, and it's all, well received and this, that, and the other. And then the brother starts crying because he's upset about his Old Spice. He starts crying. And 2 seconds within him getting ready to express himself, they're like, whatever, boom, get over it, something like that. Then the commercial just goes off. I said, man, had that been the other way around, it'd be a whole women's movement talking about wait a minute, she didn't get to express herself, this, that, and the other. How dare y'all cut her off, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. But did the same thing to this dude and then made it a joke. These things aren't going to be seen as those little bitty seeds that are being sown that can take destructive roots later on in the minds of some. They don't see it that way. But it is, though.
Death by 1,000 cuts, I think they call it.
Come on now. You know what I'm saying? And it's odd, bro. It's just the way that certain things are treated. Like a young girl, a little girl. I worked with little children, like in the daycare and all of that. Little girl gets hurt. She cries, oh my God, oh, the baby. Same age little boy get hurt and cry. Ain't no, oh, my baby, stop crying. What do you mean? It hurts. Blood, when it's leaking out of your finger or your arm or something like that, is hot. It's a different feeling, a different sensation. What you mean, stop crying? You a boy, toughen up. It hurts. Fingers bleeding. What's the deal? So what message is being sent to little man? It's not helpful.
Don't show your emotions.
Not helpful at all. Or the emotion that you're naturally supposed to show, go ahead and suppress it. So then when it does arise, you have absolutely no idea what to do when it arises in a storm.
That's that implosion right there.
Next thing you know, now there's domestic violence or there's self-harm or there's...
God knows what.
Because at an early age, no, shut up, stop it. Little mama cry, oh my goodness, the baby. They both babies. They both 3.
They both fell.
They both fell. They both bleeding. Same cut, same blood, same reaction,
Mm-hmm.
just not the same receptivity. It wasn't received the same way. Her reaction got nurture and love. His reaction got sternness. You know, so many things, bro. It's the way things are taught. I seen it once again in one of these daycares. Teacher tells the young one, 3 years old again, who did it? Tell me what happened. Little man was like, X, Y, and Z. Teacher was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'm tired of you always snitching.
Didn't you just ask? Didn't you just ask?
What's the message?
Yeah. Message.
What's the message, bruh?
Message. What it makes me think of is, do you believe that men and women or boys and girls should be taught differently? Certain things should be taught to them differently? Or they should be all taught the same thing across the board?
Well, yeah, they're going to be taught things differently because there are only going to be some things that pertain to boys and things that pertain to girls,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like what it feels when a young boy has an erection out of nowhere
Hello.
for no apparent reason at all.
What's happening, mommy?
At all. Not thinking about sex, has no concept of sex, nothing. And the next thing you know,
Gotcha. It works.
man,
It works.
right? Woman's not going to be able to tell a young boy why that happened. Oh, you're a little pervert. Oh, you must be nasty. This, that, and the other. No. It just happens. It literally does. Just like when a young girl has her first menstrual cycle.
Mm-hmm.
It naturally just happens. So yeah, there are going to be those things that they need to be taught separately. But everything else that comes down to a personality trait, as far as kindness and generosity, consideration, and hard work and community and things of those magnitudes, I mean, that just sounds like being an overall good person.
Yeah. You're a good human being.
I just sound like a good person. Mom
Yeah.
said, baby, I can't teach you how to be a man. I can only teach you how to be a good person.
That's good. That's a good start.
That's a great start.
It's a good
That
start.
made a lot of sense coming from her. I can't teach you how to be a man. Makes sense. I can only teach you how to be a good person. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotta learn how to be a man on your own. Makes sense. Why? Because only a man can teach me how to be a man. Real talk. What does it look like to actually be a man? Right? And that's
Wow.
where the mindful masculinity comes in. Because if there's one thing that I know about being a man, not only just being a man of a darker hue,
Mm-hmm.
but being a man in general, I naturally intimidate. That's what masculinity does.
Mm-hmm.
It naturally intimidates. It's the male gender. It's the one that's supposed to be full of vigor and strength and, boldness and all of these different things for the protection.
Full of valor.
Full of valor, right? For the protection of the women and children. Those that will not have the same exact level of all of those other physical characteristics when it comes time to hunt and go to war and defend and things of that magnitude. Stuff that people already know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this is unknown. It just really comes down to the whole emotions having a gender thing.
Gotcha.
And that's not it. Compassion is compassion. Sensitivity is sensitivity.
Yeah.
Period.
Happiness is happiness.
Period.
It's two things, and I hopefully I can remember both. I remember energy. Emotions just means the word energy and motion.
Right.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but the notion of you starting the UV light about helping young men and men find their mindful masculinity made me think about. Correct me if I'm wrong. Something that you were missing that you could help others find by teaching them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's what it kind of came to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which is shout out to you for having that revelation and
Appreciate
doing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to move forward though, unless you wanted to say something, but I just wanted to move forward. I wanted to get into things that you may know of because you've got a lot to live for. I've got a lot to live for.
That's fun. That's fun.
Talk to us about your music and how you got into it and why it's so important, the music that you create.
Man, been in love with music forever. Actually, I really, really got into it when I was homeless
Mhm.
in Ohio. I went to go live with my pop.
How old were you?
At the time, bro, I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I was just getting ready to turn 15. And my pops was like, yo, I'll be back. I was like, all right, bet. No. I remember being dropped off at my grandmother's house. When dude, I hadn't seen him in days. He hadn't come back. Stepmom was gone. It was like no food in the house. Probably eating like Vienna sausages, no hot water, no heat, no nothing. Like I told you, he was out there smoking that stuff. I remember being dropped off at my grandmother's house one time, and I'm just randomly walking through Ohio, dude. Like looking for my grandmother's house. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening, right? But I found it randomly enough. This is way before
Mm-hmm.
Google Maps and all of that. Listen, I am MapQuest, right? Who was on
We're
it?
gonna find it.
Man, found it. Was picked up by my older brother. As a matter of fact, after my grandmother gave me something to eat, my auntie dropped me off back at the house. My brother came and he picked me up. And at that time, bro, DMX album just dropped.
Mm.
It's Dark and Hell's Hot. That was the first one that just came out.
Mm.
And my brothers were listening to it. My brother was listening to it. Him and his friends, they were listening to it. And I had never heard rap like that. And I was like, dude, that's what's up. Like the whole style, the bark. For those that know the Legend of X, yo, it was just like, yeah. And they introduced me to all kind of stuff at that time. It was DMX. They introduced me to the Locks. They introduced me to a little bit of Nas, 41st Side. And when I came back out to Cali, it was like, that was it. Yo, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that I heard them spit lyrics, I was like, man, that's what's happening. But that really didn't take off the way that I wanted it to because still a whole bunch of homelessness, bro. Still just a whole bunch of bouncing around, living here, living there, getting into activities and all of that, hanging with the criminals and what have you. But I always had that. It was like that fire was lit, bro. And that was it. It wasn't going out. That fire was lit. And every stage of my life, from caterpillar to butterfly, bro, every stage of my life. And I bring up the butterfly a lot because after I had that little unction, come to find out there's a butterfly called Ulysses, bro. I didn't even know that. Which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always had that inside of me, bro. So every life that I've had, I can say the life I'm living right now was after a life that I've already had, right?
Mm-hmm.
But every little life that
You
I've
said
had,
after a life you had?
yeah, real talk. To think about it, like the life I'm living right now is completely different than the life I was living at one point. So this technically is afterlife.
Yeah.
Real talk, but I'm still living. So with that, I always tracked my stories because that's what hip hop music was all about.
Mm-hmm.
Tracking your stories. You know, what you did, where you were from, who you were with, what you planned on doing, things of that magnitude. So I always kept track of my stories. But nothing took off. And it makes sense though because it wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to get out here and spit the same destruction and, you know, tear down of the community and the neighborhood. It's already out there. And on top of that, because I believe the energy that I have is so unique and it's so refreshing that had I continue on in that light, it would just be and nothing took. Nothing took. But then the moment I started becoming the best version of myself and loving me and knowing what I wanted to do, what do I really want to do? I want to leave a legacy. Okay, what do I really want to be remembered for? Man, feeding as many people as I possibly can. Everybody can eat has been the model for me for the longest time. Longest time. So then, man, the thought of a Nobel Prize came up only because I heard of the story of how the Nobel Prize was even created.
Talk to us.
The gentleman, Mr. Nobel, first name I can't get right now.
Yeah, we'll call him Prize.
Got you. if I'm not mistaken, he was the inventor of like dynamite or grenades or something like
Oh,
that.
that's so interesting.
Yeah, check it out. Dude invented dynamite or C4 or something like that, right? And he accidentally read his own obituary because somebody died in the war that had a similar name to him, and they thought it was him.
Mm-hmm.
And he read his obituary, and it called him the Widowmaker, the killer of babies, the destroyer of nations. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude invented like dynamite,
Yeah,
TNT, whatever blows up
Yeah,
stuff. He was out here. He
C4,
invented
yeah,
it.
yep. Mhm.
C4. And when he read that, I could just imagine he said, "Oh hell no!"
That part.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, "This is not how I'm going to be remembered." So he took all of his funding from creating the destroyer of nations
Mm-hmm.
and went out there, bro, and became the very first world-renowned philanthropist, and went out there helping all of humanity because he realized his initial invention was destroying nations. I mean, to be called the Widowmaker,
Mm-hmm.
the killer of babies, the destroyer of nations.
Kind of a dope ass supervillain name.
It really is.
Yeah, kind of a dope ass supervillain
But
name.
not for a real person who was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, my grandkids, my great grandkids, someone down the line is gonna be like, what was my great grandfather remembered for?
Mm-hmm.
Like that scene from Hitch when Will Smith takes old girl to the island, Ellis Island, to see her grandfather's name signed in that little book because he passed through, and she was all like, all crazy because dude's name was the Butcher, and he thought he was like a butcher, but it was coming to find out dude was this serial killer going around killing people. She hated knowing that was who he was in her family tree. Mr. Nobel didn't want that.
Yep.
I didn't want that either. What am I going to be remembered for? If anything, Nobel Prize recipient. What does that look like? It looks like getting out here and have it at it. Right? So because that became the thought process, that became the energy, that became who I am, the music reflects it. Right? And Live For, which is the one that you quoted, came about because I was feeling like I didn't have a lot to live for. I was feeling like everything that I've done, everything that was ever spoken over me, all of the negativity, all of the darkness, all of that, I was like, dude, it's gonna win. Like, and then it just hit me. Dude, you got a lot to live for. And then the song came, I am not done. As long as there is life in my lungs, it might be the darkest of nights, but the light will still come. Waiting for the day to break. This would be the takeaway. Negativity, it can't stay by the break of day. Yeah, bro. So from there on, each song after that has been telling the complete story of all of the lives, leading up to this one being the most important one.
Awesome. Yeah. Shout out to Darkman X too.
Man, let's get it, man. Rest in peace, yeah.
I know.
Man.
Under respected, I guess, in my opinion. And they talked so much shit about him after his death. It was just heartbreaking.
On top of that,
It was heartbreaking.
right? Even that right there. Like, same thing when my pops passed. Like, listening to the things that, relatives and ex-wives and all of that and children had to say about him. I mean, hell, even the shit that I had to say about him. Damn, I don't want that to be me. When I'm going, be like, yo, I'm glad he was here. Now, granted, I'm going to be the villain in somebody's story. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as I'm the hero in more people's story than anything else, man, so be it. I'm glad he was here.
Yeah.
Real talk.
It's so cool because we talked earlier about, money being the root of all evil, right? But it's not. It's a tool, and it's kind of cool that Mr. Nobel decided to use his money as a tool for positivity, right? What we talked about earlier. Beautiful story about hip hop, the locks. For some reason, I thought you were the oldest, but when you shared your story about your oldest brothers, introducing the locks, Nas, all these New York-based rappers. But I want to know, what's your thoughts on freestyling?
I think it's awesome.
Gotcha.
It's like a super dope gift for a lot of people. I can somewhat do it. As a matter of fact, all of the songs that are out now and all the songs that I will forever create, bro, I don't write any of them. I literally perfect a freestyle. So for the producers that give me beats, like shout out to my guy RJ Full Range and shout out to my guy DJ Down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so when they shoot me beats, whatever comes out of me is whatever the beat is saying based on the composition.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to tell the story through, you know what I'm saying, myself, right? So my freestyle has to have a real purpose. It's not just some, oh, yeah, I want to get these bars out this, that, and the other. Like, no, I'm actually planning on doing something with it, so I would want to sit with it.
I got you.
You give me a funky fresh beat right now, and I get to getting something, and it's like, dang, how much further could that have gone? I wonder what else I could do with that, man. I want to work on that and touch it up. Ooh, I wonder if I could X, Y, and Z with it.
I got you, and I respect it because like you said, it's not your thing. It's not your thing, and why force somebody? What is it? Force a circle into a square peg type of thing,
Yeah.
I also thought, so you're fascinated with the Nobel Prize thing, huh? Of becoming a Nobel Prize winner?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's on the list, right? Bucket list?
That's the list.
I love that.
Ain't nothing else on it but that.
Um,
Because in order to achieve that, bro, that means I did what I needed to and I served humanity.
Gotcha. You know what's also really great is that there's a lot of great people who've never gotten Nobel Prizes, right? But sometimes just being recognized by your community is a Nobel Prize in itself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But when I was talking to you about it right now, I said I saw a vision of, and maybe I'll be in the audience when he wins that.
I've had a few people say that. I'm gonna see y'all there.
Okay.
I've had a few people say that, bro. I'm gonna be right in the front row. I'm gonna be right there. I know you are.
Hey,
'Cause I'm playing no games.
let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun, dude.
Let's have some fun.
I'm out here to build. I'm so ready to rebuild the community I once helped destroy, bro. That's too easy.
Oh man, that reminds me of Yaki Awaken. He said the same damn thing. Same damn thing.
That's way too easy.
Yeah.
Way too easy. Bro, I got these songs coming out. Man, in about a couple of months, I released 5 singles, and I have 5 more songs coming.
Okay.
So the first album is gonna be 10. The second album is gonna be 13. That's how I'm doing it, right? And I got these new songs coming out. It's just like, bruh.
Exciting, right?
I'm
okay.
excited, bro.
We're gonna talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll get to it. We'll get to
I'm
it.
excited about those.
If you had one question to ask God, what would it be?
I ask myself questions all the time.
Simple as that.
I ask myself questions all the time, bruh. Because I am, and there is none beside me.
Mm-hmm. The end. The end of that chapter. I think you mentioned that you've lived homelessness for about 15 years at least, right?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on homelessness today and why it exists and the rise of it and the mental state of it? What's your thoughts on that today about homelessness?
Okay, so once again, everything could be individualized, right? Well, everything is individualized.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this person might be on drugs. This person might have had a business, and their business partner, you know what I'm saying, did something shady and took it all under. This person could have had a divorce. This person could have been in an accident and was the only breadwinner, right? And now this person is paralyzed from the waist down and can't provide. There's so many different things that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But for those, well, even with all of that comes with it, a lot of it is people giving up on themselves. Because as stated, even for, let's say, the individual was the main breadwinner and had the accident and is now paralyzed from the waist down, right? I did bring up Roland Stark, right? They help those with a mental and or physical disability. They help the elderly. They help those who need living assistance.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone to have a physical disability and be like, oh man, nobody's gonna, want to rock with me, well, that's not true because Rolling Stars has been around since like 1973 in the Inland Empire.
Mm.
Right, so a lot of it really is people giving up on themselves. Even when I've gone out and I've been hanging and banging with them and I feed them and I put some clothes on some people, this, that, and the other, get somebody a room for a night or two, you know what I'm saying? Some soap and deodorant here, my G, wash up, clean up, all of that. I'm like, dude, I understand this. I come from this. I was raised in this from a child up. I remember sleeping in cars and, garages and being dropped off with people and not having a room to sleep in and sleeping in the kitchen underneath the table and by the trash can and things of that magnitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
People typically ask me the same question. How'd you get out of it? How'd you overcome it? And what's my answer? Dude, one day at a time. It's like in the 8 hours, 10, 12 hours that this person is standing on the side of the freeway holding a sign, they have jobs where people literally stand outside of buildings and hold signs. I'm not going to do that. Well, then there you go. What are you going to do, person? Right? A lot of it is people giving up on themselves because there are resources. There is help. I mean, the community is large. It really is just people giving up on themselves, choosing the tent. And this is how you know a lot of people don't want to be homeless because they choose tents.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of shelter. Right. That's how you know they really don't want that. It's just at this moment they believe that's all they're worth. So they're giving up on the ideal, the dream. They're giving up on apartment or house or hell RV.
Mm-hmm.
Go get a tiny home. They turn, truck trailers into houses now. It's giving up on that idea because of one hardship, two hardships, so many hardships, a bankruptcy, a divorce, not having a college degree, high school degree, all of these different things that a person is allowing themselves to be why they're giving up on themselves and saying they're only worth this.
Mm-hmm.
Right, as stated, everything can be individualized. If a person, ingests something, and now something up here is fried, and you know for a fact, like, hey, there's no real functioning for this person unless we can hit them with a drug that'll reverse it, or by miracle, this person, grabs hold of oneself and reconstructs it somehow. There's a will, there's a way. For a lot of people, the will is, this is all I'm worth. This is it, that's all. And it's like, dude, but there's resources. People get felons jobs. You have a misdemeanor, if you have a felony, they have programs out there. Temporary agencies, all kind of stuff, bro. I know I had to do it. I had to bounce around. I didn't have a high school diploma. I went back and got my GED. Right, I had a felony on my record. Couldn't get hired in certain places. So what did I have to do? I had to learn who would hire me and who wouldn't. And for those who would hire me, cool. I would go in and I would learn as many skills as I possibly could. And if I wasn't able to be promoted at that job due to the temporary agency, seniority, and what have you, whatever skills I learned on that job, I apply somewhere else and say, yo, I got these 3 skills. So if they wouldn't promote me here, I could go start over there having these skills already. Then I could come into the door making more.
Yep.
That's exactly what I did. That's how I bounced around. And that's how I learned. That's how I grew because I realized if I don't know anything, then I can't bring anything to the table.
Yep.
As they say, you have the skills to pay the bills.
Simple as that. Yep.
It's the skill set. What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, bro, I can do a lot.
I love that.
Oh, man, I am super talented. I love myself. I am fucking amazing. Apologies, I don't cuss that much when doing stuff like this, but I'm fucking amazing.
Hey.
I love me.
I
love me, bro, because I know I could do a lot.
Amen. I love me too.
Full of skills, bro. Full of skills.
Yeah.
Full of disciplines. Full of great habits. Right? And continuing to build and grow and develop off of that. Yeah, bro. So it's people giving up on themselves.
Got you. It's probably the main thing.
The main thing,
Yep.
believing they're only worth that. That's not it.
Yeah. You're worth so much more.
You're definitely worth so much more. As a matter of fact, the last verse of my song, Full Range talks about that because I met one of the brother I met, Kaim, that sleeps underneath the bridge. Man, that whole second verse talks about the fact that these individuals are going through this and some have given up on themselves, but as it has been stated, don't you know that ye are gods?
Mm-hmm. It's in the book of Psalms.
In different religions and different spiritual aspects, it's all been stated the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You're God consciousness. You are a piece of the whole. If the beginning of everything is God consciousness, then that means everything that is in existence can't be anything other than what the beginning is. It can't be anything opposite or foreign to itself. And it's bringing the awareness of that. Like, dude, you have God consciousness inside of you, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Life and death is in the power of the tongue. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Planting, you shall receive. You know what I'm saying? Sowing, you will reap.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they sowing? What are the vibrations they're giving off? What are they telling themselves and telling other people about how they see themselves? I'm
Mm-hmm.
only worth this. So that's what they sow and that's what they reap.
Yes, that's. I know I got super excited because I was like, what was I gonna ask next? I remember now. ¿Por qué tú quieres aprender español y italiano?
So I can communicate with more people. All right, because I just started. I've been on Spanish 100 and I think it's like 165 days. And then I've been on Italian, I want to say like 60 days.
Okay. But ¿por qué no Swahili or por qué no Chino, Chinese? ¿Por qué esos idiomas? Why those languages?
Because they're romantic. And I live in Southern California, surrounded by Spanish speakers. I mean, was raised in the Inland Empire just about my entire life outside of a year or two, like in Ohio. To be able to speak to more people, to travel. And Italian is actually easier to learn than Spanish.
Más o menos.
Well, for me,
Mm-hmm.
Italian is actually easier to learn because they only deal with the vowel sounds, right? Plus, they have, I think, like 6 or 7 letters less than we have in the English language. And it has been stated that if you speak English fluently, that Italian would be very easy for one to pick up due to the vowel sounds. I mean, think about how complex English is.
Yeah, it's confusing
You
actually.
can have one word or one sounding word like red and red. Red, one is a color, and red is to read something past tense.
Cool and cool.
Right? So, English being one of the most interesting and difficult languages per se is to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's illogical.
Yeah. I chose Spanish because, man, Southern California, right, close to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish is like the 3rd or 5th largest spoken language, something like that.
And Italian? ¿Por qué
My
italiano?
brother lives in Italy.
Ah.
My brother lives in Italy. Shout out to Don Divvy Devon.
Mm.
Dareen the Terrible. That's my twin. Yeah.
You have a twin?
Spiritual twin.
Got you. I was like, you have a twin?
Spiritual twin. That's my twin though. He lives in Italy. He speaks Italian fluently. I'm like, bro, I'm coming. Right.
Prepared.
That's it, bro. Preparing. Immersing myself in it. Found a couple of Spanish songs yesterday. Got some Italian podcasts, some Spanish podcasts. I have some of the books that I have in English, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I have that in English and Spanish, both hard copies and the audibles. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. I just downloaded on Audible in Spanish. Watch a lot of Spanish nature films on YouTube, not YouTube, on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix has the, like all of them do, but they have the ability where I can change the audio and the subtitles. So I've been finding movies that are based, like Italian movies, Spanish movies, where I can go and change the translation and the subtitles and or immersing myself all the way in it. Like I said, I've been on my Spanish like 4.5 months now.
Mm.
And I'm saying Italian like 2 months now. And I'm having fun because I'm understanding, I'm comprehending, I
Sí,
can follow along,
sí.
I can answer questions, I can order certain things, right? Just gradually doing what I've never done to be who I've never been, and it's super fun.
Poco y poco.
Sí.
Sí. Es muy hermoso, señor. Es muy hermoso.
Gracias.
Sí,
Es muy
sí.
amable de su parte.
Ajá, gracias. Sí, no, sí, ajá. I think you mentioned that you were in Las Vegas and you came out to the IE. What made you want to leave Vegas to come to the IE?
Oh, no, I wasn't living in Vegas.
Oh,
No,
you
you're
weren't?
talking about when I told you I was gonna no longer work for somebody else. I was in Vegas and I came back out this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, some family was out there, man, celebrating love and this, that, and the other. Went to go hang and bang with them, but I was already having this this feeling of, man, dude, I'm supposed to do more. Period. Like what I was doing, the company I was working for when I was doing the ABA therapy, bro, I was everywhere. I was in San Bernardino, I was in Riverside, I was in Moreno Valley, I was at daycares, I was popping up at people's houses, and then I was in Corona. I was doing the intake. I was the office assistant and administrator and all this, that, and the other. And blah, blah, like, oh, so much was just happening. And I still wasn't full time. And I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. It put me in the arena of mental health. It allowed me to get some terminologies. It allowed me to download a lot of the information that I needed to get things going. But I was like, yo, nah, that's not it. Right. And that was the whole from Vegas back out here. But for the most part, bro, I've been out here, like everywhere out here. That's why when people are like, hey, yo, bro, where you from? I tell everybody, Earth.
I'm an earth being. I'm an earth being.
I'm an earthling. I mean, where you from? I'm from Earth.
I
As a
like
matter
that.
of fact, one of my newest songs coming out right now is called Like We Do. And the entire song is speaking about how unless you've ever been homeless, you don't know what these streets are like we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of makes sense for anyone's perspective. Like, you can assume what it's like to fly a plane, but if you never flew a plane, you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could talk all you want to talk being the passenger. Oh, man, that flight was this, that, and the other. But are you the pilot?
Never
Then
flown a plane?
Then be the passenger and shut the hell up and enjoy your flight.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. And enjoy your flight. There may be turbulence.
That part. That reminds me of a song. I'm not sure. There's a group called Living Legends. I think it was Living Legends. It's like backseat drivers always got directions. Only got the wrong right. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it reminded me of that. Mr. Valor, would you like to play another game with us?
Let's go.
Yeah?
Let's see.
Okay. So this one's called Quick Slip. So what it means is I'm going to give you a word, and I want the first thing that comes to your mind to say what it comes out.
All right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Quick Slip. Here we go. Sly.
Purple.
Concrete.
Home.
Father.
Gone.
Faith.
Oh, silence is not an answer? In myself.
Yeah. Got you.
In myself.
I love that. Nancy Drew.
Actress?
Possible.
Everything.
Protector.
Me.
Dowry.
You say whatever pops up.
I love that.
Got to look that up.
Men.
Community.
Power.
I am.
Role model.
I am.
Cantaloupe.
Sorry.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He's super tall.
Flower.
Beautiful.
Daughter.
Nina.
Family.
Oddballs.
Aggression.
Aggressive.
Apple.
Manzana.
Outbreak.
The movie.
Will
Smith. That tickled me, bro.
Wait.
Oh shit, lost. Oh, that made me cry.
Now.
Is all I have.
And that's Quick Slip.
Oh my god, that was funny.
Thank you,
bro.
Ulysses.
That brought tears to my eyes.
That's good. That's
That
good.
shit was hilarious.
The good tears.
Yes, that's great.
The good tears. Fire can burn or it can heal.
Oh, that was fun.
It's good.
Dowry. Gotta look that up.
Dowry, yes.
Gotta look that up, bro.
Dowry is what they used to use in ancient times, and some they still do it for a daughter in marriage. So here's a amount of money you need to pay in order to have my daughter for marriage. Like here's a camel, blah 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 blah, dowry.
Oh,
Right.
word.
Yeah.
Camels.
What's something most people, maybe even close people and friends, don't know about you?
Everything. No one knows everything about me.
I think it's impossible to know everything about you,
Exactly.
right? Is there one thing that you would like to share with us or would share with us that most people don't know about you?
Can't share everything.
Could you share one thing? And it could be simple. I got one maybe. Tattoo on your arm. Why'd you get the tattoo on your left arm? What does it say? The writing.
Nah, that's not on the table.
Okay.
Even though it's on my arm, it ain't on the table.
Okay. Well then, I tried, folks. And it could be as simple, and I think we did learn something about the detachable hoodie as a thing that probably most people probably didn't know. But I think now people may know why you wear it. That's probably one thing. So at least we got that. Yeah, we got that. But we'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what current projects you're working on?
Yes. As a matter of fact, working on finishing up this album.
You have a name for it?
It is From Gutter to Greatness.
Okay.
So no, I think I might be able to share. Well, no, because some people know that, so never mind. I was like, no, somebody knows that.
You could share it still.
I'm looking to start my own genre of music per se ish. My style is mud and soap. The mud is the grimy gutter urban feel. The soap, everything is clean with building and uplifting, right? Really don't tell a lot of people that, but I've told a few people. It's like, yo, that's my style, yo. It's mud and soap.
I like that.
I appreciate it. So with that, yeah, working on finishing this album, putting together a music video for a song coming out called Phoenix.
Gotcha. Do you have a name for the album?
For the one that's coming up next, or the one that I just said?
The one that you just said. Do you have a name for that album?
That one is going to be From Gutter to Greatness. The other one that's coming up with the rock song, not sure just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a mixture of rock and some hip hop. That's fly. Working on a love book.
Okay.
Won't tell y'all the title. Working on a love book. That's coming. Been working on that extensively, having fun.
Stay tuned, ladies.
Yeah, man. Stay tuned, everyone.
All beings that like to love.
Stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned, everyone. Yo, got a love book coming. Working with a new photographer and videographer. Found a colleague of mine who was willing to rock some of the outfits I got coming up. So looking to put together this catalog for the summer, for the fitness line, for the UV light, and Loving Myself Absolutely brand.
Nice. So you're really going hard in the music game right now too, huh?
Yeah, with everything.
Yeah.
Everything that has something to do with being able to express myself creatively through literature, whether it be through the books, through the journals, through the workshops. Man, this right here, the music. And the music definitely, because if there's one thing that can turn anybody into an overnight success, it's a hit song. If there's one of anything that can cause anyone to be a household name around the world, it's a hit song.
Yeah.
Period.
You can go viral now. Yeah. Technically, you can go viral
Period.
on anything. Yeah. Now. Yeah.
But a hit song, though, something that people would love to listen to, wake up to, go to sleep to, cook to, drive to, a hit
Mhm.
song. Plus the message, plus the brand, plus everything else behind it, right?
Yeah. They don't even need to speak the language. They can just vibe with it.
Man, as a matter of fact, one of the songs I'm working on right now, I play with it to where I'm gonna put the polyglot in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, having fun with that. So go in and out English, Spanish, Italian, make it all make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And have fun with it.
Exciting. Yeah.
Different things where I have some business ideas, I have some restaurant ideas.
Okay. Isn't it? Okay. Doesn't it? Okay. This is coming from me personally. Doesn't it sometimes get to you and like, man, like I got all these ideas. It's like how can I execute them? It's like I wish I could execute them as fast as they came.
Right.
It's
Which
like,
is why I focus on the main ones that I know are gonna get the most traction.
yeah.
Which is the music, which is the workshop, the journals for the boys and men. Right? That right there is the traction in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Even you said it, man, wear the brand more. Like I was rocking my royal blue UV light hoodie yesterday.
Okay. I missed them.
Right. You missed it, right?
Yeah.
So I was out there having at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even so with that, it's like because the name is out there with the music and the name is out there because I'm in the community and I'm doing the volunteer work and people are starting to recognize the brand even more. That's how you and I met, right? People are touching on, what it is that I'm doing. It's allowing for all of those other ideas to start forming and shaping because the music, the journals, the workshop, once it continues and continues and continues, it's opening the door for everything else.
Yeah. Ulysses, I look forward, man. I look forward to seeing
Appreciate you, bro.
all the visions and the positivity, right? Because we definitely do need more positivity. Always need positivity and positive minds and positive visions in this world. Because it's so easy to be negative. It's so easy. It's so hard to be positive, but it's so easy to be negative.
But it's the opposite, though.
Mm.
It's easy to be positive. It's harder to be negative. Think about it like this. If I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, it's like 16 or 17 muscles in your face that flex when you smile. But there's like 40-something, 42 or 46 muscles in your face that flex when you frown.
When you frown, yeah, more energy expense. Yeah.
It's actually harder. Gotta put in more work. It's easier. Smile.
And I guess to clarify what I'm saying, which I think people know, but I'll just say it anyway.
100%.
It's an easier go-to in people's
Absolutely.
mentality to jump to
Absolutely.
negative
Because we're
thoughts.
bombarded with it.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
All the time. In casual conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Which is why I don't talk to a lot of people.
Got you. But we had him talk with us today.
I had it.
And thank you so much for talking with us,
I
bro.
had it, yeah. I had my moment of I'm
Nah.
about to go be quiet for the rest of the day.
Okay, hopefully tears of joy,
Go sit in the
with
corner.
the Will Smith, and everything
Ah,
like that.
shit is-
Ulysses, thank you so much for being on the Empire, man.
Man, my pleasure. my G.
Let's say 100 years pass by, 250 years pass by. What would you like your empire to look like when people say, this is what Ulysses did?
Man, still standing. Facts. Still standing, not in ruins. An empire can be an empire in ruins. Man, there once was.
So-
Thriving empire. You can tell by the ruins. No ruins, yo. Still thriving, still shining that light, still being a genuine beacon and center of hope, like for real. And the people know. That's why those that rock with me, they know it. It's like, yeah, authentic, my G, playing no games. Period, point blank. What you see is what you get. So yeah, bro, not in ruins. 250 years from now, so when I snap back and I come to and I get to walk and be like, man, I feel like I built this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to reincarnate myself as me. Man, I'm going to be the 17th self of myself. And she be like, yeah, I did that. So not in ruins, bro.
Sweet. I like that.
I wonder if I could be the 17th version of myself. How would I know that I'm not now?
Yeah, apparently according to Billy Carson and Thoth, that Thoth was able to jump into different type of bodies, move his consciousness into different types of bodies throughout time. So
As long as I can just move it throughout my own.
your own body?
Yeah, that's it. Cause like they say, let's say I exist in this time frame, and when I pass from this realm of it, I'll never know when I wasn't. I'll always know that I've been. So when I pass from this one, wherever I go after this one, I'll know that I was there and I've always been there. So wouldn't I still be me?
Maybe you should write a note to yourself, be like, hey, you are you. So when you come back, you're like, oh, I am me. Yeah.
Stoner talk.
That part, except I'm not stoned though. I'll tell you that
Neither
much.
am I. It wore off already.
So a refresher will be coming soon for you, sir.
Yeah, let's get it.
Mr. Valor, thank you for being on the Empire, man. Can you please let everybody know how they could find you, support you, all those things, man? Can you let everybody know how they can do those things, man?
All right. Well, the name once again is Ulysses Valor. ULYSSES Valor VALOR. My link tree is it's actually linktr.ee/UlyssesUVLightValor. You can find me on Instagram, Ulysses UV Valor, but the light is spelled LGHT because the UV is the I for light. I mean, look me up on any and everything that's streaming music, Ulysses Valor, and you'll see the UV light logo. I'm the only one with it.
Dope. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll have his links in the description in case you guys get lost or, I'm gonna have it. I'll definitely have his IG in there and hopefully his link tree as well. So that way you can click on it, support him, see what he's doing.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Of course. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys all for who stayed tuned and watched. Please like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought.
Yeah.
If you want to support us, liking and doing that stuff helps. But if you really want to support us, keep this work going. You can do our Cash App, which is $THEE Empire Podcast. We also have PayPal, other forms. We have books, which you can do. We have merch. All those things really help keep this program keep going. And yeah, we appreciate all you guys regardless. And is there anything else, Ulysses, you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, that's it, my G.
Ladies and gentlemen, catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yep.
I say it's my duty. Yeah. Is it my will? Yeah. To do what? Yeah. To do is right. I say.
Gotta change my battery one more time.
And I gotta pee, bruh.
You?